Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to today's session on building your own operational network. I will be your curator and host today. My name is Mark Dilchert, the VP of Sales for Tosibox Asia Pacific. I look forward to taking you down the Tosibox journey towards a 3S approach towards operational network. So that is a simple, secure, and scalable solution towards creating infrastructure. For today's start, I'd like to just put out a quick poll to everyone. This is just to better understand a background of where everyone comes from and what everyone's looking for. Is it a commercial aspect or is it a technical aspect that you're looking to get out of today's presentation? So we look forward to getting some information around that. In the presentation today, I'm going to also be showing you more on a high-level overview on the technology, on what Tosibox has, but also mix it up, and I'm excited to see that predominantly technical audience here today. So for those on a commercial side, don't be too concerned. There will be a mix of both. And then at the end, followed by a session where we will send out emails to everyone looking for some feedback and how we can support things going forward. Okay, so let's click off today's session. Thanks for the input on that. So in today's session, we're going to talk more about IT, OT, and the facilitation and integration of those two. So to put some context to today's half an hour session together, what is IT and OT? IT has a look at the management and flow of digital information, whereas when we have a look at OT, OT manages the operation and the physical processes and machinery that carry out that data. So we've made reference to a couple OEMs below there that I'm sure everyone is familiar of. And it's really having a look to say, well, how do we bring these two together in the most frictionless manner that allows people to deploy technology without having to adapt their business to that technology? So when we have a look at the line that segments these two on the current screen, it's something that a lot of people see it in this manner. Sorry, there we go. I see that the presentation wasn't shared. Apologies. Okay. So a lot of people see the segmentation between IT and OT like this. And it's not actually like this. It's more on a viewpoint like that. So in every operation that you have your IT processes. This would sit from an enterprise or a corporate office aspect. And within that IT or LAN office environment, you would need the ability to access OT applications. And this is why we put it into this frame and environment. So let's take you down and show you a little bit more. Sorry, for those that are posting that they have no audio yet, I think it's something that you just need to check the audio on your machine. We're live and going on this end. Okay, so let's move on. So when we have a look at the end-to-end process of this, we have the 4 pillars. Namely things and devices, which is where the data in the OT environment originates. That could be on a full Class A LAN network with multiple IP addresses, or it could just be a single IP device. There's then that network connectivity layer that needs to then push that data and information to its storage location. That storage location can be on-premise, that can be in the cloud, in one of your favorite clouds, Azure, AWS, and so forth. And then there's the visualization or orchestral layer that includes machine learning, analytics, artificial intelligence, and so forth. And it's really having a look at these 4 different pillars and looking at the different buzzwords that go around in industry. Those buzzwords could be Industry 4.0, IIoT, or IoT. No matter what we call it, it's the difference in those that matters. The current IoT model looks for the one-way transfer of data. So that's where you've got devices or things pushing data in a single flow and format up into the cloud. There's the visualization over and above that. But the general challenge in an environment like this is, once you've received that real-time data and there's concerns around the error in that data or a problem that may have occurred in the field, you still have the challenge that someone, either in the field or from a service perspective, needs to now go into the environment in order to correct that error, in order to then see the visuals correct itself from a real-time aspect. In the IoT world, this is more of what we see in today's environment around operational excellence, giving you the ability to have an interoperability and two-way data flow between the edge. So that's all those things and devices from different OEM manufacturers on different IP or IT protocols. Then bringing in the connectivity portion, which might be a mixed bag of WAN connections, ISP cellular connections in the different markets. There might be a bit of satellite involved in that. And then that feed into whichever cloud environment you choose, and having the ability to then orchestrate that with whatever OEM platform. And then bringing the complexity into it with people located all over the world in different locations using different technologies. When we make reference to technologies, it could be iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, Chromebook. And no matter what technology the users are using to access that data, irrelevant of where they are accessing that data, it's all important to focus on edge-to-edge connectivity and that two-way data flow. And this is where we have a look more on that from Tosibox. Whether it's traditional IoT or an operational IIoT model, connectivity and cybersecurity are a common thread in both of those. And both of those topics are specialities where we've simplified the process of being able to include it into your model. We've pulled out a couple must-have points in this bullet form here in order to understand the value of where Tosibox technology focuses on that optimizes that whole ecosystem. So when we have a look at that optimization, first and foremost is that automated and intuitive network management. So what does that mean? It means we've automated the process of creating these connections. We've automated the process of managing these connections, okay? So you're reducing cost of rollout, you're reducing cost of management, and while they're being administrated, it's got a whole automated approach of being intuitive in that there's no need to change configurations in a whole lot of different areas. You create the users, you create the access groups, you remove the users and access groups, and the network is intuitive in picking up all the firewall connections and everything else in the automated approach in order to keep it simple, yet still secure. The ability to create layer 2 and layer 3 connections for remote maintenance and for that data collection. Sorry, just to highlight, folks, we will be fielding some questions at the end, so I'm going to keep them all until last, if that's okay. So we mentioned about that layer 2 and that layer 3 connection for remote maintenance, giving you the ability to not only have a private network of OT connectivity, but also having the ability, remember mentioning about connectivity down to the edge, in order to connect to those devices as if you are on site connected via a patch cable configuring the device. Sorry. Always on data acquisition. So that means having the ability to move this data from the edge or facility to wherever that data needs to go. So edge to anywhere connectivity. That could be an on-premise server, that could be in the cloud, or just to a user sitting somewhere around the world in a secure manner. So when we talk about secure manner, edge-to-edge security. So that edge-to-edge security comprises of a tunneled approach between each ends. It comprises of your normal certification that's been shared in the automated process, and it comprises of a fully encrypted 256-bit AES encryption, giving you that secure private network that you've created in seconds in our automated approach. Concentrating on cloud service, on-premise, and both. So we've mentioned about that hybrid approach. No matter what your ecosystem looks like, whether you have multiple different areas, we'll get into more detail just now around showing you our multi-cloud approach. So we have different options, and our technical staff are open to working with you on how that ecosystem looks, building out a business model, overlaying Tosibox over it, and to show you the value of using our technology in that ecosystem. Then giving you obviously scalability, future-proofing, and cost-effectiveness to meet your growth needs. Okay, so it's not about buying this expensive system that is future-proofed, that for something that you might need in the future. It's about taking your technology in small slithers and being able to purchase as and when you need it, but with the reassurance that in the future, no matter how big your business model is, we're able to cater for it from a user, from an edge, and from a cloud perspective. And in the theme of catering with it, we cater for compatibility with all manufacturers and IT protocols, okay? So that there's no conflict around needing drivers or anything to what we do here. We create a transparent, secure tunnel for you between all your different devices located globally without the concern for all the technical parameters that normally come into that. So ecosystems are something that we are creating every day in our lives. Digital infrastructure is something that we talk about. It often becomes a buzz topic, but not something that's really used in everyday applications. Today, we're going to mix a bit of both. And with Tosibox technology, we are taking those interconnected systems on-premise or on a siloed approach. And through Tosibox technology of devices in a hardware and a software format, we're providing that interconnectivity on a globalized basis, then allowing you to digitize your business. So giving you the ability to store and exchange data through a centralized communication system. And by putting these two together, that's the reason why Tosibox was created. So whether you're a single little system integrator looking to make decisions on where you want to take your business in the future, or you're a multinational that's got a Fortune 500 platform that is global that you're looking to secure with technology, Tosibox suits all of those through these two buzzwords. And that is the reason why our technology was created. We're going to show you today how to create a Cisco-style network in 10 seconds. So that means that we are focusing on the technology side, we're focusing on the security side, but we're still keeping it in line with those 3 S's that we spoke about. When we have a look at the automated approach to cybersecurity, We've got a couple highlight points here around the fact that we self-create OT networks. So we're creating these connections in an automated manner that does the same thing and the same process every single time. So you're not having to rely on that human aspect to create these configuration connections. So it eliminates any error in the process. So if you're an unskilled person or you're an engineer that doesn't have an IT background and you're looking to create a connection, you create the same end result as a qualified IT person that's been in practice for the last 20 years, all through our automated processes. When we have a look at the security aspect, we do not rely on any third-party cloud providers maintaining your data privacy. So you're creating your own private networks. Those networks would be hosted within your cloud environment. So we do not have a Tosibox cloud, okay? And all the software solutions that we do for the cloud would be hosted in your environment so that you are in control of your data, maintaining that data privacy. It's not going through someone else's server or cloud platform. Everything from the security side is on that point-to-point basis or that end-to-end connection that we spoke about, and all is fully encrypted with a 256-bit AES encryption. The start of all these network creations is all done on a trust basis, which is what cybersecurity is all about, okay? And that's done through the simplicity of our physical first multi-factor authentication. So taking our user crypto serialized USB key, putting it into one of our hardware locks that would sit on the edge, leaving it there for 10 seconds, and by doing that, you've created that physical first multi-factor authentication. For those that haven't worked with it before or had exposure to that, I urge you to go onto our YouTube site. We've got some great update videos explaining how this gets done. In under 60 seconds on a video, you've become a network specialist. No need for static or public IP addresses. So you're not incurring any costs around static IP. You're not incurring any cybersecurity risks with public IP addresses. The simplicity of creating access groups, users, edge connectivity, depending on the region, the application, industry, whatever it may be, you're able to create these access groups, put those users and edge devices into there, and maintain a secure solution, but still in a simple manner through our drag and drop access control. And then last but not least, the fact that the technologies from Tosibox never date. And the reason why they never date is because we have an over and air update process. So as long as you've got updated and live systems, we've pushed over the air update solutions on both the security aspect to maintain the latest on virus or hack protection, as well as the software updates to keep your hardware and firmware on that hardware up to date. When we look at the integration and the networking side, we started with that opening slide of IT and OT. This is a little bit of a highlight on the integration of those two. So when we start bringing those two together, we have the ability to do that with no special ports that are needed. Okay, so we use standard outbound ports that IT would use on a daily basis. So there's no requirement there. There's no inbound ports used in our technology. So we're not making that black hole into the cloud or enterprise application LAN network by having to expose something. No inbound ports, only standard outbound ports required. We've mentioned this before, no static or public IP addresses. So it not only removes the cost, it also removes the complexity, and it removes that surface of attack through having a public IP. Our intuitive networking side comes with that automated firewall approach. So not only does it adapt to the users and the configurations that you're doing, it also works automatically behind corporate firewalls. So you're able to maintain your normal LAN application infrastructure. You can put a Tosibox on a network behind that, and it will automatically create its own network out in order to manage that flow of data. At this point, a lot of people have an alarm bell and say, but oh, how do we control the risk? Please remember, only authorized users have access to that lock that you're putting on that network. So unless you've got an authorized and serialized key, that multi-factor authentication we spoke about, you can't even see the device, never mind access it. We then adopt standard IT networking technology that IT professionals know and trust. Things like NAT one-to-one, DHCP, VLAN, proxy support, and so forth, which are all included in the technology on how we do things. So what that does is it gets you or gives you the ability to build up this OT network on a global basis, but it also gives you the ability that beyond every lock that you've deployed on the edge, you can build a full Class A network behind every site. So you can build this private infrastructure on Tosibox technology that you are self-sustainable on, that's cost-effective, and it's intuitive that it will manage itself. You don't need to worry about the service providers. You don't need to worry about the fixed IP on the end. The technology manages all of that in its ecosystem. And the entire technology infrastructure is agnostic from a connectivity perspective. So as we've mentioned before, uses any technology. On the infrastructure side, we've spoken about the automated networking process. We've spoken about the layer 2 and layer 3 connectivity. So that gives you that permanent private network as well as remote maintenance down to the edge. The always-on data acquisition. So you've got your private network. There's no limitations on where that data gets pushed. The automated security and access control. So removing users live, adding users live. And this is done on a global basis by the administrator and master of the system, giving access to that environment. That hybrid cloud approach. The unlimited network scalability, so being able to add more devices as you go along. So whether you're using 10 or 1,000, the same approach is taken every single time. And the compatibility with all manufacturers and IT protocols. This then goes into a little bit more on what those ecosystems and networks look like. So I often refer to it as joining the dots. If you can draw on a piece of paper on a whiteboard how you see your network looking, Tosibox can connect it, irrelevant of the complexity. So whether you've got in diagram 1 users to networks, or you've got diagram 2 where you've got networks to users, or diagram 3 where you've got that users to networks, but you're including an external service provider that you need to manage in the ecosystem. Or by a tick of one block, you're taking these whole starting ecosystems and in block 4, bringing it onto your favorite server or cloud environment. Okay? And it's as easy as that. I tick a block, and whether I've got 10 or 10,000 devices connected to my network, they all come online in a matter of minutes. This is then what you start with on your ecosystem. So this is what we refer to, and a bit of the starting background of where Tosibox comes from was around the remote access side. The technology has obviously evolved over the years and gone beyond that. So remote access is now just a feature set of the OT networking solution that we do. You can see the master on the top left there. It's connecting to multiple boxes. You can serialize as many boxes as you want out in the field and provide connectivity to that environment. Then you've got option 2. So option 2 now is to take exactly the same technology from Tosibox, exactly the same ecosystem, and you're able to add more users either via USB crypto serialized keys or software subkeys that you can give access to those environments. Service technicians in the field, system integrators that might need to access your plant, facility managers in the plant or building environment. It doesn't matter. We can give access to all of them in a safe and secure manner. Then going on to the third point is having a look at that always-on data acquisition that we spoke about. So it's collecting that data back to a central point, but without the limitations of having to register devices, that one-way data flow, which would maybe work great in this application, but you lose contact at the edge. So by having a look at these three different areas, you're now bringing in all three into a single ecosystem all out of a standard range from Tosibox. So there's no different facts and forms. It's all used within the locks and keys and cloud technology from our VCL hub, all available to you. From there, you might have a more complex environment and say, oh, but I'm using another cloud platform for my AI, or I need to feed data through to my BMS solution. Not a problem. You can manage your own ecosystem and structure within your own cloud environment, and then you can push it through to a third-party cloud application. So now, sorry, I've jumped the gun on one before that. What I'm going to do quickly is just jump back one slide here. So in this diagram, and for those that are on the call from a technical standpoint, this is smoke and mirrors, marketing, make it look pretty and good. If we have a look at it from a technical view, this is what it looks like behind the scenes. So this is a technical architecture drawing that shows the Tosibox VCL, or Virtual Central Lock. That would be the software that sits in your cloud environment. The Lock 500 connected to the PLCs would be the edge device connections that connects to your single IP or your Class A network. The Tosibox Lock for Container, that little orange block on the right-hand side with the Docker sign next to it, that is software that we've developed in order to make this ecosystem even more flexible for you to be able to embed into possible workstations on site or applications that can adopt Tosibox and Docker technology in order to make it more flexible in the ecosystem. Tech 1 on the right-hand side is that crypto serialized key that we've spoken about. And you can see now that you can connect that SCADA system that could be located anywhere in the world. The USB key or keys have the ability to then connect into that central cloud to access the data flowing from those locks, but also has access to the edge in order to do that all-important remote maintenance and access if needed. So you can see how it all starts coming together. Then having a look at it in the next context, as we spoke about, you've got a third-party IoT or analytics platform. They're now looking for you to feed data so that you can start getting more value out of that data. You're not losing control. You're still managing your own ecosystem. The difference on it now is you're giving them what they need in order to give you the visualization aspect. So you're creating connection with the Tosibox agent in their cloud, and you're feeding them the data that they need in order to give you the results that you're looking for from a visualization side. You're not losing any control of your ecosystem or data privacy. So that's where we've brought in the cybersecurity, and we've brought in the network management side. So at this point now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to share out our next poll and just see what everyone's viewpoint is around this solution. And folks, keep in mind, this is all out of a single ecosystem in different bits and pieces. So it's not something that you have to start using all. You could start with as easy as remote access, but with the knowledge that you can grow your system to then start growing into access control. And then from the access control, you can grow into the data collection and scale as your business carries on. Okay, give it a couple more seconds there for everyone to finish giving their response. So I'm happy to see from the outcome of that everyone is very much focused around all of the above aspect. So it highlights on the importance of not just remote access, but all the other areas that comes with it. Okay, moving forward now to the next slide. So again, unlike the marketing approach of the great look and feel, if we have a look at it more from a technical aspect and we have a look behind the scenes, this shows you a little bit more now on technically what it looks like. On the far left-hand side, we would have a conventional or traditional IoT environment. They're great and effective in that you can buy a device with an agent on it. The minute you switch it on, it automatically wants to publish up to the cloud. Challenge on that is generally there's a black hole through their firewall in order to get that data through. So what we've done by drawing out our diagram on the right is we've secured operational technology networks from multiple vendors. So if you're a platform company that's looking to integrate and secure the connectivity in your environment, that would apply to you. If you're an end user and you're looking to make a decision on a platform, this would also apply to you because you can create your own operational technology network. You can manage all your data. It doesn't matter whether it is CCTV data, operational data in a building and facility. It can be any IP data that comes together as a central management point and then facilitate it out to different environments. What do I mean by that? So here you can show now or you can see now where we talk about a multi-cloud approach. So on the multi-cloud approach, you now see how you can manage your network as a core in the center. You can then branch out to different areas for different feed of information. So no matter whether you're an organization that's got a building management platform, facilities in one area, you've got a manufacturing plant in the other area, and you're looking to optimize through artificial intelligence, Tosibox can keep it all in a secure private network that you own and manage and feed it out to all those platforms for the data that they need and nothing more. And within that environment, you can still create that secure connectivity to that data, managing the users, managing the edge points, and managing the cloud. No risk around black holes, no infringements on any firewalls, whether it's firewalls from a corporate perspective or just firewalls within the cloud environment. We still keep that ecosystem secure. How do we do all of this and where do we start? So we've spoken about those small slivers. We've spoken about where to start. And what we've done here is we've put a starter kit and package for clients to understand the technology a bit further. We've created the ability for users to buy a cost-effective solution. This solution includes a lock for the edge. It includes all our key options. So whether it's a physical USB crypto key, whether it's a soft key to issue out to a colleague or fellow user that runs on Mac or PC, or whether it's a mobile client that would run on iOS or Android, that you can start building up a network and ecosystem. And I highlight that this is not a proof of concept. These are standard devices. They're deployed around the world already. And it's the start of building your ecosystem and future on operational networking technology, okay, and simplifying your lives, okay? So we highlight on that made easy. So please feel free. There will be that email coming out afterwards. These are available on a global basis through our partners, directly from Tosibox and our international network. Feel free to reach out and take advantage of these offers. Also, please, we want to have our partners, our customers, and all the people involved reach out to us from a point of view of staying up to date. We're constantly publishing new applications and new areas where we've got involved with partners. We look forward to hearing your applications on how you're using Tosibox and share that, which has a multifaceted approach. So you also get the exposure for your business at the same time. This is a partnership that we're working on. So feel free to reach out and follow us on LinkedIn, follow us or subscribe to us on our YouTube page. and talk to your individual salespeople and partners within Tosibox and link up with them as well on LinkedIn. In closing, just to give you a little bit of feedback information for those that are not familiar with the background. So Tosibox is a technology that was developed and founded in a place called Oulu in Finland, which is going up towards the middle of the Finnish continent. The technology was created and is used for OT infrastructure in 130 countries around the world. So we highlight on the maturity of this technology and where it's used in multiple different applications. In today's market, we're creating hundreds of thousands of OT networks, securing clients and giving them the ability to create their own private networks that they are in control of. We're just giving them the technology and tools to do that. Our technology is unique and has a global patent. So even when you're reading up and you're having a look at comparisons and people doing comparisons on Tosibox technology and they're saying, oh, that looks the same, it's not. We are unique. We have a global patent against that, so no one can do what Tosibox does. And last but not least, obviously our sales footprint is on a global basis to suit the deployment of our technology. So please feel free to reach out to our sales footprint and have a chat to our distribution market, have a chat to our own sales staff in the organization and see where they can help you with your ecosystem. I'm also going to go out in a last closing on our polls, just to get some last feedback on what people are looking at on their interests around this OT networking. Okay, so let's close out then now. In closing, we've got one or two questions here, and the first one is a gentleman has put on here, Jim, thanks for your comment. Very intuitive and good presentation, got a few aha moments. So this is something that we have on a daily basis. This is something that the alarm bells go off when people start playing with the technology. And the reason why we created these starter kits was because it creates an aha moment on what's applicable to your business when you start working with the technology. Let's have a look here at another point there. Oh, I got a long one there let's first go here. So there's a question here around, we highlighted on slide 20, can a technical person at one of the PLC sites access a PLC on a different site via the central server? The answer to that is yes, if they are authorized to have access. So the administrator gives authorization. It is done through tick blocks within the software on our unit. So there's nothing complex around doing that. And as long as that technical person is authorized to access it, they can access whatever they're authorized on that network. So the answer is yes. And that came from Graham. Okay. I've got a long question here from Jacobus. Jacobus, I'm going to please respond to your question after this. It is a bit long for this discussion, so yeah, feel free to reach out. We will drop you an email answering those questions. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for a session today on OT networking from Tosibox. I hope that it has been very informative and look forward to bringing you on board as a partner, learning and creating Tosibox networks on a global environment. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and have a good day.